There is a way to share a Google form which works compatibly with school iPads without the students needing to use their Google Classroom or even their Gmail accounts, so they don't have to remember any passwords or anything like that. Now, it's very similar to sharing it with the public, so I need to fiddle around with some settings first of all. So I need to get rid of collecting email addresses because they're not going to be logged in and the students might not know their email addresses. I also need to get rid of this option because if they're not logging in, they will not be registered as Driffield Junior School members or users. So I need to open it up to anyone. Now, this is now suddenly a very open form. So when I save that, I need to be very aware about how I share it. So anyone at the moment who gets access to this link or I send it to can use this form. So when I go to my responses, the people who've answered it won't be named. So what I need to do very early on with this is add a question near the beginning. What is your name? Now, that's come out as a short answer question. So when I have my answer sheet, I will actually know who has made each response. If I don't have that because I've not got an associated email address, I won't know whose work is whose. So I've got a question saying what's your name, so that deals with that. I've set my settings correctly so that it can be shared with anyone. They don't need their email address and they don't need a login, and I'm not going via Classroom. So now I go to send. I could send it to their email address if I had their email addresses, but the whole point here is I want them to be able to access it from iPads without Google Classroom. So I could embed it on a website, but the easiest solution here is to go into link sharing. Now it gives us a great big long link that we've seen before. If they click on that, it will take them to this form from the user side. Obviously, I'm going to shorten the URL just to make it a little bit more manageable. I'm going to copy that. Now, I could paste this into a Word document or a doc or even a slideshow or anything, and then just have them access the link from that. But to share this document with them, I would need them to be in a Google Classroom or logged in. So I'm going to get a little bit more creative. They could, with this, I'll just paste it in, this long link, they could type that out on Safari and then take them to this form, but the chances of an error there are very, very high. So I'm going to go into a QR code generator and I'm going to pick URL. I'm going to paste that link in there, and this then creates a QR code. So I've now got a QR code that I can use. I'm going to copy image, or I could even screen grab it, and I could then paste that into a Google Doc. That QR code will take anyone who scans the QR code, scan over it to my Google Doc. So you get your iPad out, you scan this code with the camera, and it will take them to the Disney on Forms doc. When they submit it, the submission will come back into my responses section. I wouldn't have an account associated to it, but because the very first question is what is their name, I will see your name as the very first line. So I could put it onto here and then print them out for them to be scanned. Or if I wanted to be clever, I could put them onto a Google Slides and copy and paste them into this. That way, anyone would be able to access the form and complete it without having to log on to anything like a Google Classroom or even a Gmail account. So if you just have the iPads, there are no Chromebooks available, that would work well. And you could even print it off on slides multiply and just cut and paste.